So feel free to ask me anything you want to ask me. And we're so excited.
Yes, we're excited too. Welcome to the Holistic Kid Show. My name is Zane.
My name's Abdullah.
And mine is Iman.
We're the Holistic Kids here to educate us kids from the inside out. Can you believe that it's almost 2026? Time is going by so fast. It's been crazy for us because we've been working nonstop on our book.
With the new year, we are thinking about how we can all become our best self, and we have a perfect person here with us today, Dr. Fab Mancini.
Dr. Fab Mancini is America's #1 healthy living media expert, a mentor to millionaires, Hay House's international best-selling author of The Power of Self-Healing, and the host of his TV series, Thriving in the New Normal. He's a popular radio show, Self-Healing with Dr. Fab, and podcast, The Fab Life, and his new book, Self-Health, Reverse Chronic Disease. Dr. Fab is actually also the best-selling author of Chicken Soup for the Chiropractic Soul, an internationally acclaimed educator, consultant, business leader, speaker, and world-renowned chiropractor. He's been featured on Dr. Phil, The Doctors, Fox News, CNN, CBS, ABC, NBC, and so many others. So thank you so much for joining us today. It's really our pleasure. We can't thank you enough for being here with us.
Well, it's so great to see you both. And I can tell you congratulations on not only the launch of this breaking book, but more importantly, in your desire to help your generation be able to be healthier so they can be more productive and live a tremendous future.
Definitely.
With the new year almost here, we want to teach everyone to get off the right foot and start the new year off right.
Yeah.
There have been a lot of new trends in 2025. So what do you think is key teens to get the best out of their new year?
And before that, can you first tell us about how you got here and your story?
Well, if you can tell the sexy accent, I am from Colombia, South America. So I come from an Italian descent family, Colombian family. And we moved to the United States when I was 13 years old. And we came here not because of happy reasons. We came because my father was having a problem with alcoholism. And my mother felt that it was the best environment for him to get treatment. So 5 boys, they just said, we're going to America. We moved to America. We moved to Miami. And the blessing was that my father went through a 6-month treatment and never drank again in his life. So a lot of good things happened from that, my father's health, but also the fact that we were in a new country, new language, new culture, new opportunities. And my parents said to us, you know, we want you to live your dreams, decide on what passions you have, and then become that. So we had no restrictions. We didn't have to work with my family's business. We didn't have to stay within a very limited area of South America. We could be anything we wanted to be. So I had a dream that I wanted to be a doctor. So I went to pre-med school, and instead of going to medical school to become a neurosurgeon, I wanted to spend the rest of my life preventing disease, helping people take responsibility for their health. And this year, it marks my 38th year that I've been doing that in a big scale. And then I'm very big in the personal development space. So I've been lecturing for 45 years in that space, helping people understand that they can pretty much achieve anything they want to achieve if they set their mind to it. And so I'm blessed to be in this space and having this conversation with you.
Well, like we say, it's really our pleasure. So thank you so much.
And that is so cool that you've been doing this for 38 years now.
I don't look it, right? I look like I could.
I was surprised you said 30 years. You look very good.
I just turned 60. So let me tell you, because raising 2 boys and also, you know, seeing so many people in my career, I can tell you that the most important thing for a teenage is to decide early on what they want to be. Because in reality, the formula for success is once you're clear with what you want to be, then your mind will allow you to come up with the behaviors that can get you there. And then those behaviors give you a feeling that you're accomplishing it. and all of a sudden you find yourself having everything you want to have. So it's called the be, do, have formula. It's probably the most powerful formula for success that I ever came across with. So to start the new year, I would start by reflecting and asking yourself, how much of me is really the product of everybody around me? How much of me is my grandparents wanting something for me? How much of me is my parents' idea of what I should be? How much of me are my friends? How much of me is the social media and the television shows that I watch or the books that I read? How much of me is in my friends? So once you discover that maybe 80% of you is really everybody else's wishes for you, that's when the work really starts. And now you can start writing. But if I had control of me, what would I do differently? Who would I want to be? And that's when you get to dream and you get to create the ideal future, which I call what you were destined to be, not where you find yourself today. So that's where I will begin as a new year. If I was a teenager, it's clarifying who do I want to be.
Wow, that's amazing, and it's so empowering. And I think so many teenagers can look and learn from that, because right now we have our parents telling us what to do, we have the people around us telling us what to do, and I think a lot of teenagers are just, getting stuck with what everybody else wants them to be.
And with that, a lot of teens aren't even thinking about it because they're constantly consumed with just maybe wanting to be an influencer because they're only watching influencers. So
Well, and that's
really
the problem also, the fact that for so many years, especially this generation of teenagers, you are thinking short term more than any generation before. And many of that is because, all of a sudden you don't necessarily see the value in planning ahead. You're barely just surviving. You just want to make it through today, right? And the challenge is that you're dealing with a lot. I mean, if we're dealing with a lot, right? Because let's say since the pandemic, the whole world has been a different world. Since internet, the whole world has changed. Since iPhone came into the picture, right? Telecommunication now is very different. Since blockchain came into the picture, now everything will be changing in the next 30 years. And then since artificial intelligence came into the picture, it completely changed everything. So you're a generation that is going through so many changes that is very hard for you to plan in the future when you can barely manage just getting through another day today.
Well, you're so empowering.
so empowering.
So empowering.
Yeah. But the key thing is this. I want you to realize that you have all the power in your world. Why? Because you're young. You see, as you get to my age and your parents' age and your grandparents' age, you start realizing how much time you wasted. You wasted time by surrounding yourself with people that were not really the people you should have been hanging out with. You wasted your time by maybe getting a career that you ended up doing something totally different that you went to school for, which is 70% of Americans are not doing what they went to school for. So you go to college thinking a degree is going to be a safety net towards your future, when in reality today, a degree is just a degree. It's an opportunity to do something with it. But if it's not your passion, guess what you're going to do? You're going to attract somebody that's going to say, hey, Fab, instead of being a doctor, maybe you should be on television. Oh, hey, Fab, instead of being a doctor, you should be a writer. Or, hey, Fab, instead of being a doctor, you should be a mechanic. But whatever the case may be, you have to take advantage of that youth and realize that if you're clear right now and you start making good choices today, you are going to be so ahead of everybody else your age that it will give you the opportunity not only to become a great influencer, but more importantly, to contribute great value to this world of ours that desperately needs your generation to step up.
So how can teens and kids have that mindset to break, the limits that people put on top of them and achieve their true potential? And I know we talk about a lot because we talk about how negativity, especially as teens, we're the most negative people ever. Like, I hate my school, I hate life, I hate my parents. but how can teens have the right mindset to achieve their true potential?
Okay, that's a great question. So I would begin by doing this. Write down all the belief systems of your parents and grandparents. So what is a belief system? A belief system is that, we make $100,000 on average a year. We're never going to make more than that. That's a belief system. You choose to stay wherever your parents are. Um, a belief system is that as I get older, I'm going to get sicker. Instead of saying, as I get older, I'm going to get younger. That's a belief system. Another belief system should be that I'm never going to be able to make $100,000 a month. That's a belief system. I'm never going to attract the perfect partner for me that will make me happy all of my life and not just a few years of good marriage. That's a belief system. A belief system is that I can pretty go to any college, any Ivy League school, anywhere I want to go in the world. Even if I don't have the money, I will make a way to do it. That's a belief system. So I will write down the belief systems of where you feel you've been given by your parents. And trust me, your parents always want what's best for you. The problem is that they're not you. They're not meant to do what you are going to be doing, right? They're just giving you the opportunity for you to take this life of yours and take it to a whole new level, much higher than what they've been able to do as parents. And because I know your parents, I know you're incredible parents, but I'm talking to all the teens that are really listening right now. You are not your parents. Your belief systems don't have to be the same belief systems of your parents. And you can choose the kind of person that you want to grow up to be, because that is your right. All of us are different than everybody else. We have a fingerprint that is different. We have the retinal scan that is different. We're not meant to be like anybody else. Now, the way I did is we were raised by amazing parents like you. So I took the best of my parents, right? And I thanked them for that. But I did not adopt the bad behaviors that my parents maybe had growing up, or maybe the belief systems that were limited, meaning I cannot do this or I cannot do that. I just took the good of them, right? Great integrity, great values that they gave us, honesty, hard work, all of those things they gave us. But there were also things out there like alcoholism. I didn't want to adapt that in my life. Surrounding yourself with people that just want to party all the time. I didn't want that in my life. Or maybe surrounding yourself with friends that are very fake and all they think about is what you have instead of who you are. I didn't want any of that. I wanted the best that they had. So I adopted those. And then I began to ask myself, if I had the ability to choose a new belief system for the bad ones, what would I want for myself? And that's when I decided, okay, if I'm going to be in preventative, my parents were not raised in that mentality. I'm not going to do any flu shots because they're the worst thing you can do for your body. I'm not going to do vaccines. That's not a healthy thing that I want to do for my body. They were raised in a different mentality. I'm not going to take any pharmaceuticals. I'm going to do it all natural. So I chose new things for my health. And the reason that at 60, I look like I'm 30 and I feel like I'm 20 is because I adapted a new belief system when it came to my health. And that's what made all the difference for me. And so can you if you're listening to this right now.
Wow, that was so amazing.
So inspirational. So much teens could use that, even parents maybe. Because the last thing we want is just to be lost in the world and be very constrained to our parents' limits. So that would be amazing. Thank you so much.
Yeah. So with health being a very controversial topic in the 2026, probably in 2025, what are 3 daily things that teens can do to improve their health in the 2026?
Well, it's interesting because in my last book, which was my 4th book, I wrote about how your body has the ability to heal. And your body has 12 systems that are cardiovascular system, immune system, digestive system, musculoskeletal system, respiratory system. All those systems are there to help you heal. And if you take care of those systems, if you take care of your body, the better ability to heal. But then in my new book, Self-Health, Reversing Chronic Disease, we realized that we are the sickest world that we've ever been. 76% of American adults have a chronic disease like heart disease, cancer, diabetes, chronic pain, arthritis, and many others. Over 40% of children have a chronic disease. We never used to see a chronic disease in a child. They're called chronic because you usually get it after 60, 70 years old. Now we're seeing children with dementia, Alzheimer's, diabetes, of course, is the biggest one that I'm really concerned about. Heart disease, cancer. Cancer is the biggest number that we've seen in the history of humanity. So my new message is very simple to answer your question. You do that by making a better choice today when it came to your health than you did yesterday. So what are some of those things? The first one will be nutrition. 60% of Americans are eating processed foods. They're eating foods that have dyes, oils, and toxics that are not healthy for your body. So imagine today you had that cheeseburger, that pizza, whatever you had. Tomorrow, you're going to say, you know what, if I had to make one healthier choice today when it came to my lunch, maybe I'm going to go ahead and opt to do a salad with some organic chicken or organic beef, or maybe make myself a soup with vegetables, something healthier. And you're going to make that choice. So when it comes to your health, the most important thing is that you choose organic whole foods instead of processed foods, right? So when you go to the grocery store, don't go anywhere except two areas. Go to the organic vegetables area and go to the organic beef or chicken or turkey or fish. Those are the two areas that you should be shopping for food. Everything else is processed. The second thing is exercise. We need to exercise and move our bodies in order to regenerate and be able to be healthy when we get back. When we get older. If we were to bottle exercise and the benefits of exercise, it's one of the most amazing things you can do. So how do you do it as a teenager? You may not have a lot of time. You may not have money to go to a gym. So what do? You do high interval training. This is what we teach our Olympic athletes. High interval training means I'm going to stand right here and I'm going to run in place for a minute and then take a breath for a minute. I'm going to run in place for a minute. I'm going to go in a bike and I'm going to run hard for a minute or two. And then I'm going to pedal very slow for a minute or two. I'm going to run hard for a minute, bike hard for a minute or two. Or I'm going to do push-ups. I'm going to go hard for a minute. Then I'm going to rest for a minute. Or I'm going to do jumping jacks. I'm going to go hard for a minute. That's called interval training. That's the best training. And then lastly, I think that for you, the best thing you can do as a teenager is to make sure that you have a holistic doctor or provider in your team of doctors. Because traditional medicine is going to teach you that the only way they can help you is to manage your symptoms with pharmaceuticals. But when you go to somebody like me, a holistic doctor, or a chiropractor, or a naturopath, or an acupuncturist, or Ayurvedic medicine, we are trained to look for the root cause of the problem. So we're not going to focus so much on the symptom. We're going to ask ourselves the question, what was happening that led you to get like this? Is there something that you could have contributed? Maybe it was a stress level in your life. Maybe something you ate that didn't suit you well. And those are the top 3 things you can do right now to actually help you become the healthiest person you can be.
Yeah, remember, because it's so simple. Eat natural foods, get your daily exercise, and just surrounding yourself as well and teaching yourself about how to heal yourself holistically, and having a doctor there that you can consult so that you can find out and get to that root cause.
Well, one of the things that I learned from one of my mentors many years ago, I was 19 years old. His name was Jim Rohn. And this was one of the best lessons that I learned in my life. He said, Fab, the secret to life is the fact that if you tell me the 5 people that you surround yourself with, I'm going to tell you who you are. He said, if you want to be more successful, make sure you surround yourself with successful people. If you want to be in better relationship with your girlfriend, your boyfriend, make sure you surround yourself with people that have good relationships with their loved ones. If you want to be healthier, make sure you surround yourself with people that have got good health habits. So whatever you want in your life, make sure you select at least 5 people that are doing it, and let them, by uh, by experiencing them and being around them, you have a better chance of accomplishing it than if you don't. And that was probably one of the greatest lessons that have helped me shape my life as it is today.
Yeah, that's why we even say like a lot of actually the habits that we have and the friends that we have, and if they have good habits, actually it's shown that our brain actually starts like even unconsciously adapting those habits, whether it's bad habits or even good habits. And if we'd like to give the example, like if you hang out with smokers all the time, then you're often gonna come out smelling like smoke. And so even if we don't realize it or not, our brains are actually picking up these habits. And so it's crucial to our success that we find the right and best people to hang out with, because it really determines our future. And if we can build those good habits, then we can go anywhere.
I love
And
it.
you talked a little bit about like how like we can find our purpose, but what does finding our purpose specifically mean for a kid or a teen?
Well, finding your purpose, there's a couple of things that I've learned over the years that will help you find your purpose. Number one, anytime you notice out there somebody doing something that you say to yourself, man, I would like to do that, like writing a book. How many children would ever think about writing a book? But you did, right? You said to yourself, hey, we want to write a book. And you did. And now it's a huge success. And now you're helping and impacting a lot of people. But 99 or 98% of all the teenagers will never think about writing a book, right? But you did. That's one way to find your passion and your purpose in life. Another way is to ask people around you, your grandparents, your parents, your friends, your loved ones, your cousins, what is one thing that I do that you feel that I'm one of the best doing it, right? Because you have to find out what your gifts are, what your skill set is. Like, I have one son that is an athlete, and that is his gift. He can play better than anybody. And then I have another son that is probably the best public relations people person that I've ever met in my life. Since he was actually 5 years old, he could go into any environment and people just gravitate and want to get to know him. Now he's 25 and he's still doing the same thing. Doesn't matter where he goes. He just loves people. He's a people magnet. So that's a gift. So then when you find your gift, you can ask yourself, okay, how do I monetize this gift? So that way it can become your career, not a job, but actually your purpose in life, right? What are you going to contribute to? And when it comes to your purpose, you should always consider monetizing your purpose, right? Making money from it. Because if your purpose intention is to help others, you're already starting from the right place. Now, as I help others, what would be an equal or better exchange? That's a law of exchange that I can get by helping people with that. That's how you get paid. And then why is it so important to monetize? Because when you have money, you can sustain your purpose. The only time that people change purpose or get resentful of a purpose or they want to do something different is when they can't sustain it because it's not allowing them to pay the bills, to provide for their family, to give themselves the treats that they feel they deserve. So those are some of the things. So number one, asking yourself the question, uh, what is it out there that I see others doing that I want to do myself? Number two, asking your closest people around you, what is one thing that I do very well, better than most, that you think is my gift? And then number three, you ask yourself the question, how do I monetize this in a way that I can sustain it long term?
So you were so inspirational, and we are coming to our 30 minutes now. But so what is like one thing that you could maybe tell your previous self that could help them be their best self?
I can tell you honestly, that came to me one time when I was asked to do a lecture. I'm a public speaker, and they were asking me to do a lecture based on what were the defining moments in my life? What were the things that happened in my life that helped me shape up to the person that I became? And when I started writing those moments in my life that were extremely defining, right, I found out that over 90% of them were challenges, were difficult things, right? Losing my dad, losing my brother at a very young age, moving to the United States and being put back 2 years. 2 years I lost in school because I didn't speak English, and English as a second language was not a thing back then, right? That was many years ago. Um, Being able to be betrayed in business, right? Somebody take advantage of me in a business deal. Those things are difficult to deal with. So what I learned and what I would tell my younger self is to realize and to expect that the challenges in your life will be your greatest blessings in disguise. Because when challenges happens, when difficulty happens, is when you get creative and when you start getting out of your normal, comfortable self into an uncomfortable self, which is where you grow. We never grow in comfort. If life was perfect every day and you had everything you need, trust me, you wouldn't even get creative and even want to get out of bed because you have everything you want. But when you can't pay your bills, when you're having a difficult relationship that you may lose the love of your life, or when you just made an investment on a new business and all of a sudden it's not going well, right? That's when your creativity happens, and that's when you grow as a human being. So I would tell my younger self, look forward to the difficult times because they're the ones that are going to dictate how great of a life you're going to have in the future.
And that's how we also always tell people that even when you're thinking like your darkest hole and there's like almost no way to get out and there's like almost like no light, that there's always a way out and there's always hope, that and you can always pull yourself out. So I think as long as teens start to, have that right mentality and start to put in the effort, even if it's just like one small thing at a time, even just waking up and, like we talk about gratitude a lot, even just waking up and saying one thing you're grateful for, or even just eating something a little bit more natural, or exercising even like 5 minutes a day, if that's how much you can do. Anything can, as long as you start doing it step by step, you'll be able to get there. And so, just because I know you're very busy, and so we're so honored for you to be here with us today. What is one, or like your one tip that kids can do today to improve their health and live a better life?
I can tell you that of all the things that I've learned, all the things that I've done in 60 years, the most powerful behavior that I have is getting a chiropractic adjustment on a weekly basis for the last 38 years. I've never missed a week because he has helped regenerate not only my spine, my disc, my ligaments, my organs, but it also has helped me regenerate my skin, myself, my muscles, everything. So I would say to people, the teens that are listening, the early that you start getting adjusted chiropractically, the better future that I believe you will have when it comes to your health. Of all the biohacking things that we can spend a whole day on, I can tell you that would be the one thing that I would recommend. And I did that with my kids. My kids were getting adjusted once a week since they were born. And you see them today, and they're a lot healthier than I was at their age, because it's one of the most powerful things that your body can go through is to receive a chiropractic adjustment.
Yeah. So thank you so much, Dr. Bob. This was so fun. We know you are so busy, so we're incredibly thankful for your time today. Now it's time to recap Dr. Fab's key points.
Take advantage of your youth. There is so much we can do if we put our mind to it. You have all the power in the world.
Throughout the new year, with reflecting of how much of me is actually the reflection of what is going on around you. What are your wishes for you? Not everyone's wishes for you. Clarify who you want to be. Decide early about who you want to be.
And once you're clear on what you want to do and what you want to be, then your mind can help you create those behaviors on what you need to do to get where you want to be. So find your gift, find how to monetize your purpose. And when you have that money, then you can continue to sustain your purpose.
And write down your belief system of those around you. You are not your parents. You can choose the kind of person that you want to be. Take the best of your parents, leave behind the limiting belief systems.
Your body has the ability to heal. We are living in a sick world with over 40% of our kids have chronic disease. Kids are now dealing with diseases that once adults only dealt with. There are simple steps that Dr. Fab taught us today that we can make all the difference in our health and our future. Focus on real nutrition. Choose organic whole foods.
Exercise and move our bodies. High interval training is key.
Also, make sure that you have a holistic doctor in your corner. See a chiropractor regularly today.
Surround yourself with the people that you have that you want to be in your life.
The challenges in your life can define you and cause you to grow. So Dr. Fab wants you to look forward to the difficult times. And thank you everyone for tuning in. Until next time, I'm Zain. Sorry.
I'm Abdullah.
And I'm Yohan.
Follow my family and I on social media, Holistic Mom D and the Holistic Kids Show on Instagram. And look out for our new best-selling book, The Teen Health Revolution, that came out last week. Kids need to learn from other kids. Please download our podcast on iTunes and leave a review so other kids and families can benefit. We need to create a healthy future for all of us and the planet. Join us next week for another episode of the Holistic Kids Show. We're kids, care and empower kids.
Thank you, everyone.
Come on.